It's Bengals and Browns in the Battle of Ohio on Sunday. Will the Bengals go to Cleveland and start 1-0 for the first time since 2021? It's time to break it all down right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. And if you want to support the channel more, well, you can by becoming a member. We have 3 different tiers. Check it out today. You'll get exclusive content and much, much more. Let's dive into Sunday's game and what I'm watching for. We'll get into our prediction coming up in just a few minutes here. But boy, oh boy, not only is football here, but one of the toughest matchups for Joe Burrow is here. Joe Burrow versus Myles Garrett. That's what I'm watching for. That's number 1 on my list of things that I'm watching for on Sunday. How does Joe deal with Myles? How does Myles deal with Joe? That chess match between the two. Does Myles line up over the rookie, Dylan Fairchild? Does he go after Lucas Patrick? Does he go on the edge because he thinks he's going to beat Orlando Brown Jr.? Do they go to the other side and say, hey, I'm going to attack Amarius Mims? Does he try to cross it up and go right up the middle with Ted Karras? I don't know. But what I do know is that's probably the key, at least early in the game. 1, you can't let Myles Garrett wreck the game. But 2, if you want to get out to that fast start, and I was reading something on that I think it was Dan Graziano wrote, either Dan Graziano or Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. And on Thursday, it was like the Bengals plan on getting out to an aggressive start against the Browns. Well, you can't do that if 95 is wrecking the game. And so the chess match between Joe Burrow and Myles Garrett is huge. It is definitely what I'm watching for. It is box office. Really excited about that one. And that kind of launches into number 2. Which is the Bengals offensive line and what that is going to look like. I think that, man, it's so interesting to think about how they're going to run what they run in Cleveland, knowing that Myles Garrett and Mason Graham and Malik Collins, and it's a really good defensive front for the Browns. Really good defensive front. So are they going to spread it out? Are they going to buckle it down a little bit and lean on the tight ends? Are they going to lean on Chase Brown? Are they just going to do what they do? I think it's interesting. We've seen Joe Burrow under center. We've seen Joe Burrow run play action. We've seen Joe Burrow do a lot of these things that has made their offense more multiple. And so I've said this a few times, like the Bengals offense should have the answers to the test regardless. But how big of a test is it going to be? I would assume a big test. I assume it's going to be really tough to keep Joe upright if you just go there and spread it out and run your offense, the open air offense. But I could be wrong. Number 3 of what I'm watching for, and we have 6 today. We're not always going to have 6. We have 6 today. But the third thing I'm watching for is these Bengals wide receivers and Bengals weapons against the Cleveland Browns secondary. Because you have Denzel Ward, who's made a bunch of plays. He talked this week. He said, hey, man, I would love for Joe Burrow to target me. You guard Jamar Chase, you're probably going to get targeted. You guard T. Higgins, you're probably going to get targeted. We'll see. Denzel Ward and Joe Burrow are really good friends from their Ohio State days. And so that is always a really, really fun one. And then you got Greg Newsome, who's trying to prove it, contract year, trying to prove it and get himself paid. So yeah, this Brown secondary, they've fared pretty well against these Bengals receivers. How does that look on Sunday? We're going to get to my prediction and 3 other things I'll be watching for coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by Sleeper. Think you know football? Well, turn that football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more favorite players from pregame or live. And right now, use my promo code BengalsTalk. You'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Again, that's promo code BengalsTalk. And it is awesome to use Sleeper. Check it out today, where they're operational in over 25 states. All right, let's dive into the defense, because of course the defense is something I'm looking forward to seeing on Sunday. The defensive front. This Bengals defensive front against a Browns offensive line that you're going to see a lot of names that you recognize, but it's an older offensive line. It's an offensive line that's been through it a bit. I think they're still solid. I don't think they're great. I think they're solid. But how does Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart look? Joseph Osai is getting the start. How does he look? And very much kind of like Greg Newsome, a prove-it year of trying to get that bag, trying to get that money in that long-term extension. Osai is going to get the start. I expect to see plenty of Shamar Stewart. We should see plenty of Shamar Stewart. And then on the interior, and this is where I think it's really interesting, will the Bengals be able to stop the run? The Browns are going to want to run the ball. And so you're TJ Slayton, BJ Hill, and Chris Jenkins Jr. Those are the big three. And I would not be shocking. I would expect to see a little Mike Pennell as well. And so how does that look? We'll see. But I do think that the defensive front, how they operate, and that could include a Demetrius Knight blitzing, that even to a lesser extent, Dax Hill blitzing off the edge. Like, how do they pressure? How do they disrupt? I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. And I mentioned Dax Hill because secondary is certainly on the list. The Browns have Jerry Jeudy. They have David Njoku. And honestly, they have guys like Cedric Tillman. It's not like an all-star cast, but they're intriguing weapons. And if you can't stop the run, then those weapons may beat you. I mean, David Njoku is a really good tight end. I think Jerry Jeudy's finally established himself as to what he is not a superstar receiver, but a really high-quality wide receiver in this league. And I think Jerome Ford's a solid running back. I think Dylan Sampson is kind of sneaky out of Tennessee, the rookie. But if you can run the ball and you're Joe Flacco, well, then you're going to be able to air it out a little bit with the play action game. So the Bengals, they have to be aware of that. The secondary, Joe Flacco is going to throw it up and he's going to trust his arm. Go make plays. Cam Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill, DJ Turner, go make plays. We'll see if they can do that. Obviously, Josh Newton's going to get plenty of playing time as well. And then on the back end, you got Jordan Battle and Geno Stone. Is a big, big week for the Bengals secondary, because if they are improved, if they are better, this is a week that they should have an edge and that they should be able to play at a reasonably high level. And the final thing to watch for is special teams for me and how this special teams unit works. Obviously, Evan McPherson struggled at times last year, had a really good training camp in preseason. We will see how the new operation with rookie William Wagner at long snapper. You have Ryan Rico as well, who's been working on his holding. This whole group needs to be better than it was last year. From Evan Money Mac McPherson to Ryan Rico to Billy Wagner. They have to be better. Obviously, Wagner replacing Cal Adamitis. We'll see how it looks. We'll see how it goes. But that's something that I'm watching for, especially in Cleveland, where you're probably getting some of that wind. You're probably getting a little bit of that weather. They got to be able to handle the business and perform at a high level. That being said, it is prediction time here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Week 1, and I have the Bengals starting 1-0 for the first time since 2021. I think that this is going to be similar to past games against the Browns, where the Bengals find a way to win. The score doesn't necessarily look like it's super competitive, but it's going to be competitive. It's going to be ugly at times. There's going to be times when the Bengals punt the ball or turn the ball over or give up a big run or give up a big play. And you're like, how in the world did they do that? Are they going to lose this game? But they're not going to lose this game. And they end up winning 27-13. Again, it's going to look one-sided. It won't be. I think it's going to be not necessarily in doubt, but never secure, if that makes sense, until late in the game. But the Bengals find a way to get it done, go to Cleveland, get to 1-0, and that is their mission this week. If they do that, like I said, first 1-0 start since 2021, and 2021 feels like ages ago. So we'll see if they can get that done. We obviously have you covered here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk, so please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll talk to you on game day right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Our Cincinnati Bengals Talk membership program is officially here.
When we started this channel, we wanted to build a community of fans. Now we're hoping you'll support us by taking this channel to the next level.
You can support us by becoming a sideline supporter.
For just several dollars a month, you can get custom badges that I made and join our members-only live streams each month. I don't think you can buy anything at Paycor Stadium for that price. I don't think you can even breathe air at Paycor Stadium for that price.
Or a Locker Room Insider.
For exclusive videos like locker room interviews and members-only chats. And if you're really wanting to help us out and secure some bragging rights, you can go all in on our membership tier.
Get your name in the credits of every video by becoming an Owner Suite VIP, where you can put Andrew Fox Miller to work.
Here we go. Okay.
Put him to work and enjoy by supporting the channel and becoming a member today.